Hi, it's Kane Minkus, and I wanted to share briefly with you my background and my story while I keep training you in distinctions of how to launch and grow your business. So I grew up in the city of Chicago, and Chicago, of course, is in the middle of the United States. And Chicagoans are known for being very friendly people. We have this saying in America that says, if you had a lengthy conversation with someone that has dialed the wrong number, you're probably from Chicago. And my first passion in life was really music, and I started playing piano and singing in around 5 years old, and that was really my first passion. But I grew up in a house where my father was a chief financial officer of a $500 million company, very straight-laced sort of accounting financial wizard, and he was not interested in having a broke musician's son, so he was always trying to steer me away from music, and he was very sort of, let's say direct about musicians not being able to make any money. He used to say little jokes to me like, hey Kane, what's the difference between a large pepperoni pizza and a musician? I'd say, what, Dad? And he'd say, a large pepperoni pizza can feed a family of 4, right? He'd say, hey, Kane, what do you call a musician who leaves his girlfriend? What, Dad? Homeless. He used to have all of them. Anyways, so, I really grew up with this feeling that you can't do what you're really passionate about, because I was so passionate about music. But you can't do what you're passionate about and make a lot of money doing it. That you really have to, go through school, get a good job, get a degree. I mean, this was his pathway. Hey, Kane, you want to go through school, get a degree, and get a job. He wanted to be a lawyer, of course. And that was kind of, what he wanted. And, I don't know, there was something about me that I said, but that's not what I'm passionate about. I want to do what I'm passionate about. And I'd say to him, Dad, but there are people who make money in music. And he'd say, well, who? And I would say, well, like Prince, Madonna, I don't know, Phil Collins, people like that. And he would say, well, they got lucky. And as I've traveled the world over the last 8 years, training people all over the world, I've realized that many people also have this belief that you can't do what you're truly passionate about and live your life the way you want to live it and make a lot of money. That's just, those two things are sort of a fantasy, don't go together. But actually, you absolutely can. And so I didn't really know it at that age because I was so young, but I kept persevering. I kept saying, well, something's weird about that. I believe that you can be passionate. I don't know why, but that's just what I said. And by the time I was 13 years old, I was actually touring and performing all around North America, and I was performing with people like Mariah Carey and Joe Satriani and so forth. And I ended up becoming a record producer for Sony Music, and I was working with people like Faith Hill and all sorts of great acts. But I didn't know how to own a business. I didn't know how to position myself as an expert in any industry. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to do any of the stuff that I know now and that we're teaching you. And so therefore, by about 21, 22 years old, I ended up completely homeless and broke on a friend's couch in San Francisco. And I was in Italy one time talking about this story, and I had a gentleman stand up in the audience and go, how come every speaker says they were homeless and broke? Do I need to be homeless and broke before I'm successful? And I just laughed. But I don't know if everybody says that, but that's how I started, totally homeless and broke. I had no contacts. I had no knowledge of business. I had no knowledge of anything. And so if you're in the audience here and you are saying, I don't have any background, I've never done this before, I'm just here because I thought I'd listen to this great stuff, now is the time to build your business. There has never been a better time in history to build your business. And so that's how I started. I just want you to know there was no silver spoon, there were no contacts. At that time when I was homeless and broke, my dad was completely saying he was right about it. And I said, there's no help from home. He wasn't going to give me any money or give me any support. He said, look, kid, you got to figure this out. Otherwise, you're going to be broke the rest of your life. And thank goodness he did, because I really did have to figure it out. So I knew that I needed help. And you're probably here today because you need help. That's what a business is. Business is about helping people. And so there are people in the world that need your help. You're here because you need our help. And, not that smart or brilliant in that many areas, but this one area I'm obsessed with, which is growing businesses. And that's probably because I started with absolutely no knowledge of it. And I knew that I really wanted to have a future where I could impact the world, change people's lives, and just make oodles and oodles of money. First of all, so I could help more people. If I wanted to give it to charity, or if I wanted to, build schools or do great things for people, I knew I was going to need money, influence, and impact in the world. And so I became obsessed at that time, sleeping on this couch for 18 months, waking up every day with a crink in my back because I was sleeping on a couch that was too short for me. I became obsessed with understanding the best practices to become influential, powerful, and wealthy in the world. That was very important. And so I called up a friend, and I said, I need help. I'm doing the best I can. I'm 17 years into my profession. Since I was playing from 5 years old, I was excellent at what I did, but of course, being good at what you do does not equal success. It's about how well you execute on that. So my friend connected me to this gentleman named Bob Proctor. And of course, I knew him before he was famous. And we did a quick telephone call. And in that telephone call, he said something to me that I would love you to write down that I think was just super to shift and change my brain. He said, you know, Kane, entrepreneurs do not see the world for what it is. They see the world for what it can be. And I thought, oh, of course, that's why everybody thinks I'm crazy, because I see this vision where I'm super successful and maybe I'm standing on stages and I'm, performing or presenting or something, and I've got this successful business and, I'm making an impact all over the world. And what people see me as right now is they see me as, they saw me as broke. They saw me as, homeless. But that's not how I saw myself. And so you may also have people that see you or hear your ideas and they say you're crazy. I mean, how many of you have had an idea where they've said, you're crazy, right? But of course, as the money starts rolling in, you go from idiot to genius. And so when Bob said this to me, it really shifted and changed the way I thought about things, and it created a different confidence. And something that we're going to be working with you at the 3-day event is how to really shift your thinking, because successful business owners think differently than unsuccessful business owners, and certainly people that don't run businesses think completely differently about how they can generate their lives. When you run a business, you are really in control of your life. You set the rules. You set the structures. You want to get up at 10 o'clock in the morning so you can sleep in, and you want to work till 2 in the afternoon and then take the rest of the day off, then you do it. And you learn in those hours how to do the leveraged activities that you need to make the money that you want and make the impact that you want. It's really limitless. And that's what I love about running businesses, is that you call the shots. So Bob really got me hooked on coaching, and I thought this is great because it started to shift and change the way I was thinking, which was shifting and changing my actions, which was shifting and changing my results. And so what I want you to know is that over the last decade, I have hired and engaged more coaches than I've almost known anybody in the world. And what you're looking at here is literally a slide of my coaches, and I have spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and so has Alessia, on coaches, because we know that coaching and mentorship is the key to success. Well, let's say that plus a great system. But having someone that's been there before you that can shorten the time span between where you want to go and when you finally arrive there is huge. I mean, to me, time is so valuable. And although I'm 37 years old now as I'm recording this video, just under 40 years old, we have been on a mission to achieve as much as possible, as fast as possible. And I'm going to guess that since you're here, you're like me. You want to really change your life, your family, have opportunities, change the world as much as possible. And we say, don't leave a legacy, live your legacy now. And that means that you need to move quickly, have success faster, and really engage and have impact faster. Well, that's what mentors do. You're a very smart person. I don't even have to be there with you to know that you are very smart. You're probably highly educated, or you're driven to be something. That means that you would probably figure all this stuff out on your own at some point. Enough YouTube videos, eHow, or this one or that, you'd put it together. But that may take you 20 years, and it may take you hundreds of thousands of dollars. It may take you through bankruptcies so that you can learn the lessons that you need to learn. I mean, if you think mentorship is expensive, you should try doing it alone. And to be honest, although we've had great mentors over the years, there have been times when I've been really stupid and decided I know best and I'm just going to do it on my own. I'm going to figure it out because I don't need to engage a mentor. And that is where I have lost the most money and wasted the most time. So I've learned my lessons over the years, which is just bring on someone who's smart and done it before you so that they'll just hold your hand through the process so that you don't have to make all those mistakes and go through all that pain. Especially if you have children, if you have mortgages, if you have responsibilities, going through that pain is really painful, and dragging your family or others that love you through it is just overwhelmingly painful. So I've learned to make sure that I have support and community around me. Now, these coaches helped me go essentially from 22 homeless and broke to building one of the largest media companies in the world. We're in the top 5 in the world. It's called Somatone. And that company still goes on today. I still own that company. I now have leaders leading and running that company while I continue to make money from it. And that's some of the things we're going to be training you in. How do you build a company and start to systematize it so that you can have others run it for you and you can keep reaping the benefits of all that hard work so you don't have to show up and work all the time. Now, beyond the success that we created with that company, which was a lot of fun, the really cool thing, because it was great to show my dad that there was money in music, and of course today my dad works for me at Industry Rockstar. He's our chief financial officer for Industry Rockstar. But besides all of that stuff, I got to do something that was my real dream. And what I want you to write down is that you're going to sell your way to your dreams. What are the dreams and goals and things that you envision that you really want to create in the world? Well, you're going to build your business and you're going to sell your way there. That's how it's going to work. You want to be on large stages. You want to interact with cool people in the world like Oprah or Sir Richard Branson or whomever. None of that. I didn't know any of these people before I started. But in building businesses, making an impact and generating revenue and being able to use that revenue to support projects in the world and make a difference, that is what attracts these big, powerful people to you, because they want to be playing games with you. And you will do the exact same thing as you follow our systems. So the coolest thing that I got to do with that business is I always wanted to conduct and work with an orchestra. And when I was 29 years old, I sold one of our top clients, Electronic Arts, to literally fund a project where we flew over to Berlin, where we had a studio there, and record the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra for 3 records. And that was one of the most fulfilling, magnificent, beautiful times that I'd ever had. And that was so awesome as a culmination of my business. From there, I left that business. I started training all over the world so that other people could be realizing their dreams through their business. You see, a business is about who you're becoming. And what we're going to be training you in our 3-day event is how you can be expanding as large as you want to be in the world, whether you want to be playing for humanity or building your communities or changing your family or just having a different experience of life yourself. We're going to show you how you can expand to the biggest levels. And of course, as you expand, you have to change what's going on in here. You have to change what's going on in here. And you will start to become among the most powerful, influential people for yourself, your family, your communities, your industry, and humanity. And that is what our work is all about.